Peace, family. I don't know how many of the family I'll get in here, but I just decided to do an impromptu live. You know what I mean? I'm starting to get more familiarized with these live streaming techniques. So I'll probably start doing a whole bunch of lives, the more I get acclimated to doing them, you know what I mean? And first off, I don't know how many people I get in here, but I want to give a big FBA Freedman salute to all of the FBA family. You know, we stand on Lineage business, and you might ask yourself why, and that's because Lineage matters. You know what I mean? The first topic, I ain't really going to waste too much time. I see I ain't got nobody in here really, but the first topic I'm going to be getting into is I don't know if any of the family has seen, but some Latino woman, I don't know where this was. She was, a worker for a pizza place, a pizza delivery woman. I believe it might have been on the West Coast, but don't hold me to that. She went to deliver a pizza to this woman in a motel, another Latino woman. So when she delivered the pizza, the woman must have, paid for the pizza and must have had $50, got $50 back, and this pizza delivery woman was mad that she didn't give her the whole $50 at the tip. She went on ahead and later that night, but the lady did tip her, but I guess it wasn't what she wanted to get as a tip. So later on that night, she came back with another man and they broke into the hotel room and, held the woman. The woman was staying there with her boyfriend and her kid. And they held the woman, man in the other room at gunpoint, and this other a Latino lady stabbed the woman over 14 times. And come to find out, the woman that she stabbed was pregnant, you know what I mean? And they had another kid there. Her other kid, had to watch all this while her mom was being stabbed. And the lady didn't die, but that Latino woman should have been lucky that she even got a damn tip, if you ask me, in today's climate of everything being so high priced. And she went on ahead and stabbed the lady. I thought that was real crazy, in front of her kids. So yeah, it's just insane out here right now. And another thing I wanted to touch on is there was a AI made like photo floating around of the woman that they said was the lady that got burned up there in the subway. And that was an AI generated photo. They put it out and made it look like a real one though. And it shows as to the type of climate we living in now, I believe her name was like Emily Carter or something like that. They said the woman's name was, but don't hold me to that. Made a whole AI generated photo of this woman family. And they still don't got, this lady's, they still ain't identified this woman. And how they ain't identified her, that's beyond me, because even though you burn, they can still, go back and use dental records, so on and so forth. They still haven't identified this woman. And, I'm starting to think, was this woman a Black woman? You know what I mean? Nobody helped her. We see this more often than not when it comes to Black people not being helped, and, these kinds of situations and circumstances, nobody helps a Black woman or a Black person in general, because we know if this was a white woman, somebody would have certainly helped her and they would have put the story out quick, fast, and in a hurry if it had been a white woman. But I'm starting to think that woman that got burned on that subway train was a Black sister. So we need to know the identity of this woman quick, fast, and in a hurry. They could go back and access, dental records. So why are they keeping this thing so hush hush? I'm starting to think this was a sister that was burned and everybody sat up there and turned a damn blind eye to it like the coward they are. You know what I mean? But moving right along. What do I want to touch on? Got my little notes over here that I write to myself for things I want to speak on. Yeah, they got a brother up there, family. I believe the brother's name was Robert Brooks up there in New York, and he was beaten by white prison guards to death. And our brother, he had mental health issues, so on and so forth, and they beat our brother to death up there. And the video footage is really disturbing of this. I seen some of it. I couldn't really watch it, because it angers me. I'm ready to give some kind of pushback and resistance. I'm ready to get real proactive seeing that. They was wolf packing our brother, these white CO prison guards, just punching him, kicking him, grabbing him up by the throat. So I got the audio and the video of what's going on up there with our brother Robert Brooks. He was beaten by white prison guards, and we're going to walk through and talk about that thing how we normally do. Fair use. Just a second. Let me pull this video up. Here we go. Fair use.
After he was beaten by corrections officers. Today, New York's Attorney General released body cam video and called what happened shocking and disturbing. Here's Sam Brock, and a warning. This video is graphic. Newly released shocking video shows these correctional officers fatally beating an inmate, Robert Brooks. The footage, blurred and redacted by state authorities, shows officers repeatedly kicking and punching Brooks in the legs and chest and trying to jam an object.
Yeah, they was beating our brother down, holding him down. White CO prison guards, you know, wolf packing our brother, kicking him, stomping him, grabbing him by the throat, and they said they tried to even put some kind of object down his throat. And this brother had mental health issues. But let's continue.
Down his throat. New York's Attorney General says Brooks was pronounced dead December 10th, a day after these interactions with correctional officers was recorded.
I do not take lightly the release of this video.
James says the video doesn't have audio because the officers involved failed to properly activate their body cameras. It begins with Brooks.
They didn't fail to activate their body cameras. My ass, they done this intentionally as to not get caught. That's why the audio wasn't produced on the body cam, because they didn't want it to be produced. You know what I mean? They knew good and well what they was going to do. They was going to, you know, beat and kill this brother. This was already in their minds, and they done it based off of race, if you ask me. All them white guards, wolf packing that brother like that, you know, beating him like that, senseless, you know. It really gets me angry, you know, seeing this kind of stuff. This is why we need these black hate crimes bills that we always speak about, you know, because this will protect and insulate our people from this kind of injustice that's done to them. But another thing I want to add is that in them prison systems, a lot of these, you know, prison guards, they misuse and abuse black people left and right and get away with it, you know, because a lot of times people don't, you know, be really looking into them kind of things because they inmates, you know, so people could give a damn about that, you know. They write it off as this, that, and the other, but they get away with murder up in them prisons. You know, a lot of these prison guards be beating and misusing black people, especially foundational black Americans, left and right up in them prisons, you know, doing all sorts of nonsense to them. But let's continue.
Being carried inside, handcuffed, and face down. He's then raised up, face bloodied, and punched in various parts of his body. Brooks was serving a 12-year sentence for...
They're already restraining him and just body beating the brother for no reason.
Stabbing his girlfriend. His attorney says his death is it.
And they had to throw that in there. He stabbed his girlfriend. You know, they have to try to discredit a black person. You know, he's doing his time. And the girl, you know, lived from this. But they just, you know, putting that out there, you know, as to make it like, you know, this brother wasn't a good person, so he got what he deserved. And I don't rock with that, you know, because them white guards, you know, they did this based upon race, and they wolf packed our brother out like that. That was senseless.
Incomprehensible.
I was there with Mr. Brooks' son and his father and his brother. They all watched the video as well, and I think it was just the overwhelming shock. It was just felt so incomprehensible.
NBC News has not been able to...
Second family. Mulatto rights activist, Peace King, powerful information. Peace, family. Hopefully everyone out there is having a good weekend, and peace to you, mulatto rights activists.
Reach attorneys for the 14 people under investigation, but the president for the Correction Officers Benevolent Association adding in a sharply worded statement. The egregious...
Benevolent my ass. These people ain't benevolent, but let's continue.
And repugnant action of the officers who committed this heinous and fatal assault does not in any way reflect the values of the vast majority of correction officers, including my members. 13 personnel are currently suspended without pay. Another has resigned as the investigation continues.
Suspended without pay, my ass. They need to be sitting in the jail cell, these no good CO officers, because if they done this, it ain't no telling how many times they done this in the past. And it was several of them, family, several white CO just wolf packing our brother out, you know, choking him, kicking him, all sorts of nonsense. So they deserve to be sitting in the cell, if you ask me.
And yet, Tom, there are still questions tonight about what happened that led to the beating that we just saw. Tom? Sam Brock with that disturbing...
Or better yet, how about we hold them down as a FBA collective and wolf pack and beat the hell out of them, you know, and I bet they get the message, you know, if the shoe was on the other foot and we were doing it to them. But let's continue. What else did I want to talk about? Just a second, fam. I'm going through my notes here. Yeah, why not? Let's just get into it. I got a lot of FBA business that we got to get into today on this. You know, I thought I had more little couple stories to talk about, but I guess not. You know what I mean? If any of the family knows, I was trying to put up on my phone, up on this computer, how to do the OBS system to where as though I could show y'all these news segments instead of, always playing them off my phone. So if anybody got some information on how to do that, it would be greatly appreciated. Leave it in the chat or, anything of that nature, because I'm trying to, as I'm streaming, be able to pull in videos to talk to y'all about it. And to all of the family that's in here now, make sure that y'all like and subscribe to the channel, because I'm gonna be coming out with I come out with videos daily, but I'm gonna start, I'm just getting acclimated to doing these live streams. So I'm gonna start doing these live streams for the family a whole bunch more. Atish, I don't know how to pronounce that name, but it starts with an A, man. Hafa is live right now, tether splaining. Okay, yeah, we know that. He gotta, they misread the room with that one. They thought we wasn't gonna give no pushback and resistance as a foundational Black American collective, and we did. And we're gonna get into the whole Dr. Umar thing, because he tried to throw him a life raft, and he could miss me with that, trying to throw him a life raft. And then he talking about the reason that we gave giving pushback to the Latinos is because they don't identify as African. We don't identify as no damn African. Dr. Umar, you misread the room. We're foundational Black Americans, and you should have stayed quiet, because he really made a fool of himself, if you ask me. But yeah, let me pull up a few things before we get into that. And how they want to say we don't got no culture, this, that, or the other as foundational Black Americans. I want to make one thing clear. We as foundational Black Americans are the culture that drives not only America, but the world. When anybody that, got something to say otherwise can miss me with that, because we as foundational Black Americans, we drive the world forward. Our culture, everybody want to steal our culture, our legacy. They want to steal our history. A lot of these other groups of people, such as these Latinos, and make it their own. They want the history, the story. They want the greatness that we possess, and they want it for themselves. But so I got some audio and video of I don't know how old this video is, but Jamaicans are actually telling the truth as to where they got their musical influence from. So we're gonna talk about that. Let me pull it up just a second. And this is over there in Jamaica. Fair use. Listen to this, family. J Legend, FBA family. Peace, J Legend. Yeah, I seen. I think Dr. Umar is FBA, but he got some kind of Cuban lineage too. He said that. I forget how it falls, but yeah, he does. And the whole Pan-African thing, when people, a lot of times I don't rock with the whole Pan-African thing, because it undermines us foundational Black Americans. A lot of people that, are down with the Pan-Africanist stuff, they got dual allegiance, and a lot of times we as foundational Black Americans got the short end of that stick, and that's why I don't rock with it. They got dual allegiances, a lot of them Pan-Africans, because they want to make everybody, African, and some of these people don't even see themselves as Black. Them Latinos don't rock with Black people, and it's now that we keeping our foot on the neck of exposing this, because for a long time them Latinos had anti-Black views, and right now we bringing it to the forefront and putting it out there for everyone to see. But let's continue with this video, family.
You try to study the Supremes, martyrs, and
you hear what she said? Let me rewind that. Fair use.
We would listen to a
Jamaican woman
song and try to sing it exactly as Dion did it. If you are a group,
they listen to a Dionne Warwick song and try to sing it exactly how our sister Dionne Warwick sung the song. See, they got a lot of the musical influences from FBA.
You try to study the Supremes, martyrs, and vandals. If there was a group who
they studied the Supremes as well. So these people coming with this narrative that we ain't got no culture, and this, that, and the other. We are the culture, and this is proof right here, because these people, when they come over here, they have to amalgamate into our cultural art form. We don't got to amalgamate into their society. They got to sound like foundational Black Americans, to sell and go on and do what they're doing. But let's continue.
Comes from abroad to our shores. We would want to go and see them, because they have something to teach us.
It all came from the American R&B music, because
he said it right there. He said they music comes from the American R&B music, and this is Jamaicans family telling the truth. not with all of that lying. See, I respect people like this that want to tell the truth, but when you come with lying, cosplaying, and want to steal our legacy and our cultural art forms like hip hop and make it your own, that's where I get pushback and resistance to it. Because this thing, you know, we got to show the greatness, you know, to be able to show the greatness to our little FBA babies and kids that are growing up. So we ain't let nobody, you know, steal our culture and, you know, claim it as they own. This, you know, in them days is gone of trying to be, you know, going along to get along and, you know, trying to, you know, be on the Pan-African kick, because we was the ones holding up that Pan-African ism thing for a long time. And then we, you know, start to see that these other groups, you know, were undermining us, weren't playing fair. And a lot of these other groups of people, they don't even see themselves as black, even if they are black. In all actuality, they claim where they from, Jamaica, so on and so forth. But let's continue.
Influenced by the impressions, all them soul early groups. We start imitating the rhythm and blues songs, like say.
He even said it, that Jamaican. He said they was imitating the rhythm and blues. A lot of the aspects of their music over there in Jamaica, we've influenced as foundational Black Americans. We've influenced the world, family, and nobody can't tell me otherwise.
Professor Long here, Louis Jordan, you know, those kind of beats. We try to imitate it. We was playing the boogie woogie and the shuffle and thing like that. We realized that we were definitely swatting or copying the American stuff. We did some.
He even said it out of his own mouth. They was copying the American stuff, Black Americans. They was copying us, foundational Black Americans. You know, everyone in the world wants to copy us, and then they come along saying that we don't got no culture. And let's be clear, we are the damn culture that drive not only America, but the world as foundational Black Americans.
Try to copy the rhythm and blues with that.
He said they copied the rhythm and blues with that driving beat. Okay, now to the matter at hand. Let's get into the Dr. Umar stuff, you know, him trying to, you know, give Fat Joe and the Latinos a life raft into hip hop. You know, he was claiming that they had some knocking beats, this, that, and the other, like they beats was on point. And, you know, to be clear, they beats and everything came from us. You know, he said something about Nori, and he also said something about Joe having, you know, good beats. And, you know, Nori, when he came out with that Super Thug, and I believe that was one of his biggest hits, guess where that led back to? That leads back to foundational Black American hands as well, because our brother Pharrell gave him that beat to Super Thug, you know, and a lot of the things that is done, you know, we do it, and everybody else wants to latch on to it. The beats is ours too, you know what I mean? Because a lot of they beats they was getting from FBA producers. Pharrell gave Nori that Super Thug beat, so yeah, he could miss me with that. And a lot of things you know, that's done, people got to amalgamate into our society. They can't come over here and be popular with their music that's popular in their homeland. You know, they got to get on trying to come amongst us and, you know, cosplay as us. And you didn't even know Busta Rhymes was Jamaican in the 90s. I for sure as hell didn't, because he ain't tell nobody that. He was, you know, coming off as just being a Black American. You know, he was cosplaying and all actuality. Then here lately, you know, he's coming to saying he had Caribbean roots, you know, Jamaican roots, this, that, and the other. But he wasn't saying that, you know, in the 90s. He was coming, you know, and just trying to, you know, cosplay as FBA. And a lot of the times, these people do this and then want to say we ain't got no culture, so they can miss me with that. And then another aspect of this whole thing is I seen it on the brother General Seti, and I really don't rock with a lot of the stuff he says, but I got to give credit where credit is due. And he brought up a good point as well, you know, because I seen him putting out some good videos on this particular thing. And he was saying that, you know, we got to look to the sample. A lot of these samples are FBA samples that these guys come over here and make hits out of, you know. And remember that Fat Joe, when he came out with that, I still don't, with him and Pun, yo, I'm still not a player, but you still a hater. That song right there was sampled by one of our sisters, our FBA sisters, and her name was just a second. Her name was where the hell is that? Her name was Brenda something. You know, that's where he got that from. I can't find it on the notes, but her name was Brenda something. They sampled that Joe and Big Pun song, Still Not a Player. They sampled that from, our hands. A lot of the things, when you look to the sample of these records, they go back to FBA hands. So a lot of the things these people are doing, we've already done it. And if they dig back, as to where that song actually came from, it came from FBA hands. You know what I mean? So they can't take us out of the equation in no way, shape, form, or fashion, and as much as they want to try to cry foul, we gatekeeping everything. We gatekeeping our culture, we keep a score now. So you could call us the scorekeepers because, we got a lot of points on the board and a lot of people ain't got the same kind of points we got on the board. This is why they get to feeling some kind of way and get to hating. Queen Nubian, Busta never hid or denied his Jamaican lineage. Yes, he did. He ain't come out and tell people that in the 90s. He was coming and cosplaying as FBA, and that's the only reason he got buzzing like that. He couldn't have came over here and got buzzing with no Jamaican music because we wouldn't have accepted him. We would have been like, get that out of here. We was already popping. A lot of our stuff was coming off of the roots of James Brown, all of that funk, all of them funk singers, them soul singers, you know what I mean? And I don't know where you been, Nubian Queen, but we already did Queen Nubian, but we already debunked that. I just played a video where Jamaica straight up gave it up to FBAs and said a lot of their music, they were trying to be like the Supremes and things like that. And that's our people, you know what I mean? And a lot of times we don't get credit because people come with the hateful stuff, you know what I mean? Because they don't want to give FBA the credit because they know they ain't got the points on the board as us, We put all the points on the board and people want to try to come and cosplay and finagle their way into our history and culture. And, them days is gone and we just standing on Lineage business now. And a lot of people, why is everything about Lineage, this, that, and the other? Because the Lineage, is the only thing that matters. Lineage now is the only thing that matters. And, we checking people where they at the door because a lot of these people, when we know the lineage of them, we get to knowing the mindset of them. And a lot of them is just jealous haters that, ain't strong enough to stand on their own. So they've been using us as foundational Black Americans for years as a kickstand, and them days is over. Like a kickstand on a bike holds up that bike. That's what we as foundational Black Americans have been doing, holding all these other groups of people up because they ain't got no points on the board. FBA NC, Mad Hoffa is a cornball. It's free from Jabba, Hunt Joe, and anyone rocking with him. Yep, I feel you, brother. Shout out to FBA NC. I know Busta was Jamaican since his line days. The thing is, Busta never propped up Jamaica. See, I never knew when I was young, when I was listening to Busta, because I used to like Busta's music. I don't rock with him no more because of the disparaging things he said about foundational Black Americans, but I used to rock with Busta's music. I never knew he was Jamaican when he was coming out with that "Put Your Hands Where My Eyes Could See" and, all of that stuff. And when he had that song, Touch It, back then, I never really knew he was Jamaican. I just started knowing recently when he was making them disparaging remarks against FBA, but we're the culture over here in America. We're the culture of the world, that everybody wants to try to latch on to and try to finagle into our society as foundational Black Americans. And I want you to think about something, family. Why is it that everyone can have their home team? You go to any state around you go to any place around the world, everybody got their home team. Now that we as foundational Black Americans, we've acknowledged what the home team is and acknowledge the lineage, which is foundational Black Americans. Everybody want to cry foul. You go to other cities and states, they got their home team, the Bulls, the Boston Celtics, everybody got their home team. We've been weakened from being all inclusive. The power don't come from being inclusive. The power comes from being exclusive and locking down your cultural art forms, and we as FBAs are the culture that drive America forward. And these people, as much as they want to say this, that, and the other, they help, in the creation of it, they ain't help with a damn thing. Hip hop would have been just fine and it would have been created with or without them because they weren't at the creation anyway. You know what I'm saying? And also, I want to say that, they have to amalgamate into our society, because we were already over here moving and shaking. They have to sound like a foundational Black American in all actuality to get credit. They can't come over here with no damn Latino music and get popping like that. They can't come over here with no Jamaican music or anywhere else on the globe and get popping. They have to sound like a foundational Black American, and they have to, truth be told, take on our whole aura to, get some kind of sales and get some kind of recognition because, we're what's popping, and that's how they gauge how good somebody would do, is how good do you sound, or, you know, how good can you stand up against, or, you know, can you act or be down like a foundational Black American? That's how they gauge, you know, and give people credit based off of, you know, how they can, you know, amalgamate inside our group, you know, and how good they can sound like a foundational Black American. So I got the audio and the video of what Dr. Umar was saying. I keep saying that, but let's get right to it because I want to break this thing down.
A patient shared this.
Let me turn that down, a commercial, before I get hit with a copyright. Here we go.
This is even an argument, respectfully, to my Latino African family, is many of you do not accept your membership in the African race. You have an issue being...
Dr. Umar totally missed the mark with that. He said the reason that, you know, this is we're giving pushback to this is because they don't accept their membership into the African race. We don't accept our membership into the African race. We are foundational Black Americans, Dr. Umar, and you totally missed the mark, and you totally misread the room, and you should have been quiet, truth be told. You've been quiet all this time. You should have just been quiet. You know, Latinos have absolutely nothing to do with American freedmen. We are the culture. We are what pushes everything forward, and these people have no claim whatsoever into the creation of hip hop. So Dr. Umar could miss me with that. And that's why I don't rock with Pan-Africanism, because it forces everyone to, it forces you to be all inclusive with everybody. You try to make people down that ain't down. And we tried to, you know, we tried that many years as foundational Black Americans, that whole going along to get along. And we were the ones really pushing for that Pan-Africanism thing until we found out that we was getting the short end of the stick. And them days is over. He misread the room. He should have really been quiet on this whole thing, truth be told.
Considered a member of an African race. If you did not have that issue with identifying with your race, this would not even be a debate, because you would be African and there would be no "we're the Latinos."
And another thing Dr. Umar is, you know, totally delusional about is these Latinos, for the most part, they don't rock with no Black people, and they for sure don't rock with no foundational Black Americans. You know what I mean? That just ain't, you know, ain't the truth. You know what I mean? And he talking about trying to make us one big Negro. We ain't one big Negro, Dr. Umar. Get off of that kick. You know, you misread the room, and you should have been quiet, because it has nothing to do with them denying their African, whatever you said, the Latinos denying their African roots or whatever like that. You know, Latinos simply didn't have a hand in the creation of hip hop, and that's what it is. We ain't giving credit to nobody but foundational Black American freedmen for the creation of hip hop, because we created hip hop. All them other people were Johnny come laters.
Not even be a debate, because you would be African and there would be no "we're the Latinos" there. Peace and Pan-Africanism. This is your big brother, Dr. Umar Ifat.
And if you're in the chat now, family, watching this live, make sure you like and subscribe. You know what I mean? Because I'm putting out, you know, fire content throughout the week, and I'm gonna start doing more of these live streams with the family, where we just gonna, you know, get out here and handle this FBA business and politics.
Tunde Oguntade, coming to you live and direct from the city of brotherly love. I've been getting all kind of messages, inboxes, emails about the FBA ADOS.
Yeah, somebody just said something. Dr. Umar is playing attach. I can't say that name, but Dr. Umar is playing both sides of the field, because that Pan-Africanism thing is all inclusive, and it forces you to try to make Black people that don't even want to be Black, and you got dual allegiances with that. See, my only allegiance is to foundational Black Americans getting that leg up, and, you know, people putting respect on our name, because, you know, for years we was letting things go unchecked, and now it's the awakening of the FBA mind, where we checking everything at the gate, and we checking people's paperwork. Everybody ain't down no more, because we realize that the power is in being exclusive, not inclusive. And, you know, when you start to just give away your culture for free, this waters it down. You know, I liken this to having a strong cup of coffee. You don't throw a bunch of stuff in coffee. If you want it to be strong, you let that coffee alone, and that coffee will hit a little different. And this is what the type of time we on right now.
FBA ADOS versus Fat Joe situation. And today is the first day of Kwanzaa. Happy Kwanzaa to all my American Africans. And
we need to check that whole Kwanzaa thing, because that guy Karinga or whatever that they saying started Kwanzaa, he was an FBI informant or something from what I'm hearing now. So we need to start, to check these kind of people's credibility and just stop, taking things that people drop on us and question why are they dropping it on us, because they dropped the whole African American term on us to get us to, think we were foreigners, to get us to deny this land. And now you see when we're saying we're foundational Black Americans and taking credit for the land, all the pushback we're getting to us just getting on code and recognizing our lineage family, and this is very telling, because it wasn't no power in when we were saying, some of our people were like, oh, we going back to Africa, we're African Americans. People coming over here are African Americans. We ain't no damn African Americans. We're foundational Black Americans. We built this nation, and we're going to get our just due. And now we taking credit for everything and locking everything down. And this is where the pushback comes into us. We lock down the soil as well.
American Africans and Africans throughout the world, the first principle of Kwanzaa is umoja, unity. Umoja, unity. In the interest of unity, I am proposing that there be a public
listen to this, family,
conference and hearing on who exactly created hip hop.
Dr. Umar, you misread the room. We already figured out who created hip hop. We already knew who created it. I didn't even have to be told who created hip hop when I was a kid. I just knew it was my people, foundational Black Americans. And we already came with the microphone check movie. Brother Tariq Nasheed already done solidified that we already knew who created hip hop. So, and it ain't even up for debate. You misread the room and you should have stayed quiet, and you just jumped out there and said a bunch of nonsense without thinking before you spoke, Dr. Umar. Them days of us, going along to get along and, us being all inclusive, them days is gone. Latinos or any other group for that matter ain't the same as foundational Black Americans. They not like us, and, no disrespect to other people or where they from, but we simply got our own lineage that must be respected because it can't be checked. And we standing on FBA lineage business right now. It's a new vibe and a new wave in town. And that vibe is standing on lineage business.
Who exactly created hip hop? From my understanding, hip hop is exclusively an American African creation, although
American freedmen creation. Stop with that Africanness, Dr. Umar. Get out of here with that. Sit that thing on down. That thing is outdated like spoiled milk.
Has been Latino African contribution. From my understanding, hip hop is an American African creation with Latino African contribution. I could be wrong on that. In fairness to the Latino African family, in fairness to the American African family.
We ain't saying they ain't got a place in it, but they sure as hell wasn't there when the infrastructure was being laid and the foundation and the bricks was being put on it. That's solely a foundational Black American creation. So Dr. Umar can miss me with that. But like I said, Dr. Umar with that whole Pan-Africanist thing, he got dual allegiance.
There needs to be a public discussion, a town hall meeting on this issue, because I don't want this to turn left. I don't want it to turn right. And I don't want the white American power structure to manipulate American Africans against Latino Africans. So what?
And ain't nobody can manipulate us to do not a damn thing, Dr. Umar. So you can miss me with that. We just staying on code right now. We taking credit for all of our points we put on the board, and people ain't coming around, you know what I mean, and laying claim to anything no more. Them days is over.
It's to happen. All the mothers and fathers of hip hop. Everyone who believes that they are a mother or father of hip hop, everyone who claims to have been there at the foundation of hip hop need to be on a panel. I am volunteering Dr. Umar Ifatunde, the most relevant voice in the Black African world, not just in America.
He ain't even relevant. He always claimed that title of being relevant. And another thing, why I stopped rocking with Dr. Umar, I forgot to add, is that he ain't even for lineage-based reparations, family. He always, he's for everyone, African or Black or whatever, getting reparations. He even said that one time. He ain't solely for lineage-based reparations and that, we'll spend it on this, that, or the other, Jordans, whatever, the stereotypical stuff, that the dominant white society be putting out there, of how we'll spend the money. And it don't matter how the hell we'll spend it. You'll have some people that'll mess up the money, but a lot of us is going to, take that money and do good things, build businesses and institutions to help FBAs out and put our people on. I know me personally, that's what I'm gonna do when them reparations come in, because they are going to come in, as much as they want to deny it and, kick and scream, we going to get them reparations because we ain't letting our foot up off the gas pedal. But I digress.
America, but the entire planet. I am volunteering to facilitate this conversation.
And he's saying he wants to facilitate the conversation of that panel. And who the hell deemed Dr. Umar even credible to do this? Dr. Umar ain't got as much credentials and credibility as he think. He ain't no damn body that could sit up there and have a panel. It's already been decided of who created hip hop. That's foundational Black American hands, and it ain't up for discussion. So he could miss me with that. He should have, just like I keep on saying, he just came out of left field with this. He should have just kept his ass quiet and sat it on down because he misread the room. He played himself.
Conversation, there needs to be clarity. Too many people are not speaking up who know the truth because they don't want to offend people. Whether you don't want to offend the American.
Now I do believe that, people that know the truth, that we as foundational Black Americans created hip hop, a lot of them old heads in the music industry, they not coming out because they don't want to be deemed divisive, so on and so forth, or they don't want to lose no credibility amongst certain groups of their peers, or be, they don't want to, upset the room. They don't want to rock the boat, so to speak. So they being quiet. In all actuality, they know that we as FBAs created it, and they could come out here, and speak on it, but they're not going to speak on it because a lot of people in that industry, they coward. A lot of them, even if they are FBAs in favor of getting that bag, they want to, they don't want to upset, the status quo, so they're going to be quiet. But we know on the grassroots who created it, and the world knows who created it. I Googled it one day just to see, and it said African Americans on Google created it, but they're talking about us. They just ain't got the terminology, correct, but they're meaning to say foundational Black Americans. So if Google knows, these people for sure as hell know.
Africans, whether you don't want to offend the Latino Africans, we need truth. So I'm saying today,
and you can label Latinos whatever you want. You can label them African, but they for sure as hell, you can't label them no foundational Black American. That's why I love that term, because it's so airtight and everyone can't lay claim to it. We're a different group of people, and people better start recognizing, it's a new wave in town. We ain't all one big Negro as they want to make it be.
Thursday, December 26th, day one of Kwanzaa. The principle is umoja. Let us organize. Let us unite. We need unity. Now, I do want to say this.
Now, I respect some of the concepts of what Pan-Africanism stands for, that whole, everybody being unified, Black people, but that's in a perfect world. All Black people will never be unified, and now that we cut our losses and we waking up to, seeing that what things are and getting on cold with the lineage, we getting more things done. And I think we should have been pushing for lineage stuff, because what Dr. Umar is talking about is in a perfect world, all Black people are going to get up on code, this, that, or the other, but that had never happened because a lot of these people don't even see themselves as being Black. A lot of even Black immigrants, they look at themselves as wherever they from, and even Latinos, they look at themselves the same way. So there is no big global Black unity, this, that, and the third. We got better chances of doing how we doing now, and you see we getting further, and the fact that we rocking the boat and people are coming at us, and trying to attack the FBA lineage, that's, showing how, effective we're being, the fact that they got to attack it, because people don't attack things that aren't effective. But let's continue.
Unite. We need unity. Now, I do want to say this. Being the creator of something.
He talking about unity. We tried that, that Pan-Africanism thing, and, that unity gotten us nowhere. We was getting the short end of the stick trying to, play all on one team. A lot of these people come over here and they don't even, so much as look or talk to a foundational Black American. So he can miss me with that. These people don't even view themselves the same as us. And we were the only ones really pushing for that unity. I know it to be true too, because if you look back at my older videos, I used to think that every Black person, no matter where they were from in the world, was on the same team as me, and then I started waking up to the FBA mindset that I was given, that the good God above gave me, and seeing that a lot of these people don't align with us. They talk BS on us. We Akadas, so on and so forth. And, case in point, I was doing Uber. I said this, a lot of times in some of my older previous videos, and, a few years back, and I had a red, black, and, green little necklace on. Dude asked me what it was, and he was from over there in Africa. He didn't even know what it was. So we supposed to be on a team of people with people that don't even, know anything about anything, nor do they want no unity. A lot of these people don't even want unity. You know what I mean? So they're just about where they're from, coming over here, extracting the resources over here in America, and not building nothing. They don't even want to build, because if they wanted to really build, they will build in their homeland. So them days is over with, and now we just waking up to everything lineage based. Don't mean that we want to talk bad about people, this, that, or the other. But we recognizing that lineage matters. You know what I mean? And it don't. We're not saying that we want to be in divisive with people, but if they view us standing up for our lineage as being divisive, to hell with them, because everyone else stands up for their lineage and advocates for their people first. And now that we doing the same thing and got on cold with that, everybody want to cry foul. And that's back to the Dr. Umar stuff. Let's get back.
Being the creator of something isn't the same as being a contributor. Dr. Umar Ifa Tunde is a serious contributor to the history and legacy of Pan-Africanism. I did not create Pan-Africanism. I am a serious contributor to the legacy of Black psychology, but I am not one of the founders of Black psychology. I am a serious contributor to the history and culture of Black oration and oratory and public speaking, but I am not one of the founding mothers or fathers of Black oratory and public speaking. So you can create something, or you can be a contributor. The right, excellent, honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey is the greatest Pan-Africanist who ever lived. But he did not create Pan-Africanism. It predated the birth of even his parents. So again, we need to clarify. Were the Latinos there at the founding of hip-hop?
We already know that, Dr. Umar, and a great movie Microphone Check already, brought that to the forefront. We bought the receipts on it, so it ain't even up for debate. Everything else now is just in bad faith. And Dr. Umar really might have did this, made this video to stay relevant, because he realized that whole Pan-Africanist thing, that's a dying brand, a dying wave. And he probably just, gave his 2 cents to stay relevant. You know what I mean? Because he knows that foundational Black Americans ain't on that type of time. And I'm for sure as hell I'm for sure that he knows about the movie Microphone Check. Now, I don't know if he watched it or not, but I know he knows about it, and he knows that we ain't on that type of time no more. So I think he just, gave his little 2 cents on it, quote unquote, gave his little 2 cents is to stay relevant, because he knows that ain't the type of time we on now.
Were the Latinos there at the founding of hip-hop?
Hell no.
Or were they simply contributors to hip-hop? Because I'll be honest with you, Fat Joe, Nuri, a lot of Latino Africans, they got some break your back beats. I ain't gonna hold you.
And a lot of their beats was coming from FBA hands. Like I said, Pharrell did Nori's beat Super Thug, and Big Pun and Fat Joe, they sampled with that I'm Not a Player, Still Not a Player, where Fat Joe was singing. Where Joe the singer, I believe our brother Joe is FBA too, where he sang on the track, and they got that from a FBA sister. They sampled it from an FBA sister named Brenda. See, whenever you look at a lot of these samples, even Biggie was sampling our music. Whenever you look at the sample and you take it back that far, it belongs to FBA hands. You know what I mean? So they can't take us out of the equation. We laid the groundwork and the infrastructure, and other people, we invited them in, and before we know it, they come in and saying they created it, and them days is over with, and them days is gone, and people don't like it, they just gonna have to, be mad, because like I always say, they can't check it. They could get mad, but they can't check it, and they can't prove us otherwise, because we got receipts as to everything we saying as foundational Black Americans.
A lot of Latino Africans, they got some break your back beats. I ain't gonna hold you.
And beats come
they
from us.
Definitely got some of the best beats of all time. I ain't gonna even hold you. Them Latinos with the beats, they got them beats. Okay, so they've made their contribution. That's undisputable.
And you know how ludicrous this sounds? Another thing I thought of him. You know how ludicrous this sounds at them, trying to lay claim to our music over here in our homeland, America. We don't go to no other places, claiming to have made salsa music, claiming to have made Jamaican music, and this, this shows a lot of disrespect. You know, if you really look at the fact that they trying to come over here and steal our cultural art form, we don't do this to no people, you know, and they had to, truth be told, amalgamate into our society. You know, they had to, you know, switch up their style to sound like us to get some kind of credibility. And it showed the amount of disrespect that these people would come over to other people's homeland and, you know, try to take their music. And, you know, we don't do that. We can't go over to somewhere else, no Latino countries claiming to have made salsa, or go to no Caribbean countries and say we made reggae. These people will stone us to death. So that in itself showed the amount of disrespect coming from these people, that they ain't got no respect for FBAs.
That's undisputable, the Latino African contribution to hip hop. The question is, were any of the founding fathers of the art form Latino?
No.
That is the question.
No.
Let's have a town hall meeting.
We already confirmed that, Dr. Umar, and no damn town hall meeting is going to say otherwise. And you ain't even, you know, you ain't even got the credentials to hold no town hall meeting. Who died and made you the person that's going to facilitate this? We already facilitated it and know what's going on the grassroots. We already know where it came from, who was responsible for the creation, and we ain't saying that other people ain't got a place in it, but they for sure as hell ain't got a place in the foundation of it.
Conference in New York City, Dr. Umar will facilitate, because I ain't got no eggs or any bones on either side of the argument. I want truth. I'm an African. My culture is African.
Yeah, so Mr. H, I seen something that you said in the comments, Mr. H. Mar trying too hard to be relevant. That's what I think it is. You know, he ain't relevant no more. He jumped out the window, you know, and interjected himself into a conversation that he totally misread the room on, you know, and it was because, you know, he ain't gaining the traction he needs right now. So he said, let me hop out the window and just, you know, say something so I could remain relevant, because that whole Pan-Africanist thing, like I said, that's a dead brand. You know, that's, you know, outdated like spoiled milk. But let's continue.
Let's get to the bottom of this. I will facilitate the conversation, a respectful conversation with the American African and the Latino African community. Let's make this possible.
And he keep on trying to say African like we some damn Africans. We ain't no damn generic Africans. Stop trying to erase our history and our lineage, Dr. Umar. You know, if you want to label Latino, that's cool, but stop trying to throw FBA freedmen into the same category. You know, we're our own standalone group. We got our own lineage, our own culture, you know, and our own community. So stop trying to lump us all together. You know what I mean? So, because when they know that when they lump us all together, people can steal from us. This is why the whole Pan-Africanism thing, you know, wasn't working, because when they throw us and lump us all together like that, they can steal from us. And a lot of times we as foundational Black Americans, we were the kickstand to other people that weren't holding their weight when we were, you know, going along to get along. Like that kickstand on the bike held that bike up when you were a kid. That's what we were to these other groups of people, because they ain't got no points on the board.
Let's make this pop. Last thing I want to say to my Latino African family, I must say this. If you identify as African, because Latino is not a race, Latino is the ethnicity and a culture.
And a lot of them Latinos, they don't identify with Blackness. So, you know, good luck with you, Dr. Umar, when you trying to, you know, categorize them, you know, and make them African, but that's on you. You know, they ain't got nothing to do with us, because a lot of them don't even like Black people, you know, and a lot of these Black immigrants, they ain't got no respect for foundational Black Americans neither. That's the elephant in the room, that a lot of them come over here with anti-FBA views and calling us cicadas, looking down on us, we lazy cotton pickers. This is the stuff that was said in secret. Now it's being brought to the forefront and being brought to the light. And, you know, and this is why delineation is so important. So, you know, we ain't going along to get along no more. It's a new day in town, and we representing our lineage and putting on for foundational Black American freedmen. And, you know, and anything else, you can miss me with it. But let's continue.
As African, because Latino is not a race. Latino is the ethnicity and a culture. It is not a race.
Salute to my brother Sean Stone. It's about time Black Americans stand up for themselves. FBA made me proud. Salute my brother. FBA makes me proud too. And salute to my sister Virginia Pearson, B1 family. Dave Young, FBA lineage all day, lineage over everything. And people want to say why, because lineage matters. Because when we know the lineage about people, you know, we can know their mindset and their psyche, because a lot of these people don't share that same spirit, will, and tenacity. They fight in our fight. So how in the hell could we expect people to identify with us? And now we understand this, we moving accordingly and get more things done than we ever did.
It is not a race. If you identify with the African race, you're automatically.
He keeps saying it's African stuff. He's missing the mark.
The founding of hip hop, because you do not disassociate yourself from the African race.
He's missing the mark totally.
The reason why this is even an argument, respectfully, to my Latino African family, is many of you do not accept your membership in the African race. You have an issue.
We don't accept our membership into the African race. We're foundational Black Americans, and you know, you can miss me with that. We got our own culture and our own, you know, our own everything. You know, we got our own language, Tutnese. You know, we got our own everything. So stop trying to make us all inclusive, Dr. Umar, because when they try to make us all inclusive is a code word for people can steal from you.
Considered a member of an African race. If you did not have that issue with identifying with your race, this would not even be a debate, because you would be African and there would be no were the Latinos there, because the Latinos are a branch of the African family. So if you identified as African, this is a non-argument.
See, a lot of them Pan-Africanists, they got dual allegiance. They try to make everybody, you know, African. And, you know, that's just not the type of time we as foundational Black Americans are on. We tried some global Black unity before the Pan-Africanism thing. And like I said, we were getting the short end of the stick. And anyone trying to make us all inclusive with these other groups of people, this is just a way for them to steal from us and, you know, erase our culture. And we ain't letting FBA culture get erased, because we contributed a lot of things, not only to America, but to the world, that people are going to put some respect on our name. And if you coming in here, family, new to my channel, make sure you like, share, and subscribe, you know, because I'm putting out content daily, and I'm going to start doing more of these live streams where I'm just tapping in with the FBA family.
Because the Latinos are a branch of the African family. So if you identified as African, this is a non-argument. This is a non-discussion. Only because you want to section yourself out from the African race does this become an issue. But with that being said, I respect my Latino African family. Whether you identify as African or not, I respect my American African family, obviously. Okay, let's have the town hall. Let's do this Black History Month. Black History Month, town hall.
Ain't no town hall needed, Dr. Umar. You misread the room, and you ain't even qualified to be facilitating this. You know what I mean? Who died and made you the king of all kings, to where though you got the status and prestige, you know, to facilitate something like this? Because you absolutely don't.
Get LL, get KRS-One, get the Cold Crush brothers, get everybody who needs to be around that table. The Latino brothers who was there with the b-boying and the breakdancing, the spray paint.
And if these people did all they say they did, why didn't they do it in their own country? This is the question I'll keep posing, because, you know, they had to come here and get some kind of, you know, they came here to get some kind of their name recognized, you know, and they only got recognized because they amalgamated into our society and culture. You know, they couldn't have came here with that Latino music and that Jamaican music and it's sold, you know what I mean? Because we were the ones, you know, with all of the music at the time. We still are the ones with all of the music. You know, they had to amalgamate into our society for to get some kind of credibility and recognition. You know, we don't gotta, as foundational Black Americans, amalgamate into nobody's society or culture. This is because we're in our homeland, and these other groups of people coming over have to do what's popping, and that's us. They have to do what we do to get some kind of recognition. But let's continue.
Get all of the players at the table, and let's solve this question once and for all. Were the Latino Africans present at the founding of the hip-hop movement? This is your big brother King Kong. Let me know.
No, the hell they weren't. Case closed. They weren't present at the foundation of hip-hop. Nobody was there except foundational Black American brothers and sisters. You know, we were the only ones moving and shaking. And when you trace a lot of days, when we start to do the homework on a music, where they sampled it from, Fat Joe, Busta Rhymes, Biggie, we could find foundational Black Americans in that, you know, so they sampled it from us. And a lot of the times, you know, they don't want to give credit to us to try to discredit us, you know what I mean? Because they see now with this whole delineation thing that they ain't got a place among us no more. And you know, everything is getting checked, you know, and this is the kind of why they throwing a hissy fit and being so mad. And, you know, the fact that they being so mad and disgruntled right now lets me know how effective we as foundational Black Americans are being and what we doing. So we got to keep on doing what we doing right now, family, because what we doing right now is being effective, because people don't get mad and disgruntled about things that aren't effective. And somebody in the chat says, per Ann Divine, FBA don't owe nobody an explanation for shit. I'm with you. FBA don't owe nobody nothing. You know, we done paid our dues. We were the most giving people, advocating for everybody. But, you know, we look back, you know, to look around and see who's standing for us. Nobody behind us, you know. And the only people that were behind us were FBA. So damn that, we ain't, you know, I'm speaking, you know, advocating for no other groups of people no more. You know, we wish them well. We don't want to see nobody hurt, harm, or injured, you know, but we just speaking up for FBA lineage business right now. And that's the type of time we on. And Dr. Umar misread the room. And another video I want to play is from a sister, you know, over there on TikTok. She was speaking some truth to power, and she's FBA as to, you know, Fat Joe misreading the room with his comments, because he totally misread the room, Fat Joe too. Because Fat Joe ain't nothing but a white Latino, and he harbors a lot of hate to foundational Black Americans, and evidence of this hate that he harbors to foundational Black Americans was shown when an example of this is when they were up on stage at that versus battles, when he called our sister Lil Mo and Vita dusty bitches. That was some of that hate and animosity that Fat Joe harbors for FBAs coming up out of him. You know, Fat Joe don't like no FBAs. He just tolerates FBA because he's in that music industry. But he don't rock with us like that. Here go this sister speaking truth to power. Hold on. Just a second.
Yeah.
Fair use, fair use.
They on Fat Joe ass, ain't it? He should have just sat there and ate his food. I don't think he expected all that. I don't think he expected all that for real. Like,
peace to my sister, the Golden Child.
Why we gotta be broke? Why we gotta be broke, Fat Joe?
Hope everyone is having a good weekend.
It's crazy because every other ethnic group is allowed to have pride in their ethnicity, right? They're allowed to have parades. They're allowed to
that part.
Speak on how proud they are of their lineage.
You notice that, family? Everyone is allowed to have cultural parades, and they got this day, Jamaican Day, Puerto Rican Day. But the minute we as foundational Black Americans want to say, nah, we doing our own thing, this is where the problem lies. Everyone want to kick and scream. They want us to be all inclusive. And what this has done is hurting our group. It's hurt our group. It's diluted our group. And it's weakened us to a certain degree. And now that we, you know, getting up from under all of that, and, you know, we just advocating for lineage-based things, this is where the problem lies, because we were just supposed to be that doormat, I liken it to, that everyone coming in the U.S. gets to wipe their feet on and step over, you know. And now that we saying no, enough is enough, everybody want to kick and, you know, scream about that.
Which they should be. Everybody should be proud of who they are and where they come from. Yep. You know what I'm saying? But when we do it as FBA, as foundational Black Americans, when we say that we are proud of our foundational Black American origins and heritage, then somehow we're radical. Like, I am very proud to be a Black American.
FBA supremacy.
I am American. I am Black. I am proud of both of those things. I was born and raised here. Don't have any intentions of going anywhere else to live. Okay? Proud of that. But that makes me radical. And apparently,
that's not radical, representing your lineage and, you know, showing solidarity and camaraderie with your people. And like I say, if that makes me radical, you know, having a love and an affinity for foundational Black Americans before anybody, then I'm radical. And they can miss me with anything else that says otherwise.
Broke, according to Fat Joe. Like, but they getting in his ass though. He should have thought that out. He you know what? He shouldn't even thought it. He could have thought it, but he should have left it in his head.
I don't think Fat Joe you know, understood and read the room right. He just jumped out there and said something. But now I'm knowing he's feeling the effects from that. We should boycott Fat Joe and Busta Rhymes and all these, you know, tethers, you know, because truth be told, they got rich off the foundational Black American community. They didn't get rich off Busta didn't get rich off Jamaicans. You know, it was us out there supporting him. Fat Joe didn't get rich off of Latinos. You know, they amalgamated into our culture, our society, and they got rich off of FBAs. And, you know, want to sit up and talk, we ain't got no culture, disrespect us, you know. And Fat Joe using that N-word, that stuff got to stop with these Latinos being able to use the N-word, because, you know, I don't like that our people use it, but if we're going to use it, let's use it amongst ourselves. You know, I don't use it, but let's stop letting these outsiders to the group use that word nigga like that. Now, they could say, well, that's going on in New York, this, that, and the third. Well, we got to stop that thing and nip it in the bud everywhere. You know, nobody got a pass to say and use that word nigga. Now, if you're going to use it amongst your people, you know, use it amongst the FBA collective, but that's where it stops. The line gets drawn in the sand. Stop letting other people that's outsiders to the culture, you know, come in and, you know, think they're going to say and do and, you know, kick their feet up on our coffee table, you know, and just say and do whatever they feel. You know, them days is over. We got to start putting some, you know, emphasis on what's ours as foundational Black Americans, and we got to stop not being afraid to rock the boat, you know. If we got to rock the boat, to hell with them. If we make some people upset, to hell with them. You know, they just going to have to be that way, but they can't do anything about it, because if enough of us is on code, it's nothing in the world that FBA can't do.
Because they on his ass. Rightfully so. You know what I'm saying? You can't just denigrate a whole ethnicity of people.
Yeah.
Because yes,
because what Fat Joe did was he thought he was going to sit up and denigrate a whole ethnicity of people. And, you know, he knew that he was doing that. In all actuality, he tried to say it was a group so he wouldn't catch backlash. But in all actuality, he knew he was denigrating the whole lineage of people. And, you know, if he sat up and denigrated a white lineage of people, you know how much backlash that will be receiving. It'll be on front page news everywhere. But the fact that he did it to FBA, that's why it's not so widely talked about in the news like that, because, you know, he did it to us, you know. So we got to put some emphasis on it, because the dominant white society ain't going to prop that up and, you know, let that be seen that, you know, he did that to our group. So we got to make sure that, you know, we pushing back, you know, at the FBA collective, you know. But Lemonade said no one should use it. Honestly, I'm thinking that you're talking about the word nigga, and I'm with that. And, you know, nobody should be using the word nigga, but we ain't going to stop certain brothers and sisters, FBA brothers and sisters, from using it. So I'm saying that, you know, I don't use it, but I'm saying that people are going to use it, and let's lock it down to only using it amongst our people, and let's ban outsiders from using the word, especially white Latinos like Fat Joe and white people in general. Because I see some videos where white people even think they got a pass to use the word nigga, and I wish a white person or somebody like that would use the word nigga in front of me. You know, they'd be lucky if they don't get, you know, dropped right there on the spot. But let's continue.
It's an ethnic group. Okay, it's not a little club. It's not whatever you think it is. It's an ethnic group. So we should be respected just like other ethnic groups. So,
and FBA will be respected, because people think they're going to come amongst us and, you know, denigrate and talk down upon the culture, the lineage. Them days is over with, you know what I mean? And we're going to be giving pushback and resistance to any infraction of disrespect. Any little minute disrespect, we taking it and blowing up and, you know, and making it bigger. We perceiving that as a threat, an attack on the lineage. And, you know, these kinds of things are going to get nipped in the bud quick, fast, and in a hurry. Divine says the whole world shames FBA for loving each other and themselves. Yeah, because we were the group that was supposed to, you know, they wanted us to just have the division amongst ourselves and us to prioritize all these other groups of people while getting our needs suppressed. We were supposed to just play fair like good little Negroes, you know, go along to get along. And the fact that we ain't doing that now is really rocking the boat, that we looking out solely for FBA and FBAs only. And, you know, we just prioritizing our needs. Everybody want to cry foul because they wanted us to be that doormat. You know, we ain't no damn doormat to anyone or anything. Let me get this person out of here. Sanchez, probably a anti-FBA Puerto Rican. I'm going to clip him and get him on up out of there, though. Saying, what is your lineage? These people know good and well what our lineage is. Got his ass clean on out of there. You know, and yeah, family, if you in the chat right now, make sure you like and subscribe, because I'm going to be coming with these live streams for the FBA family more often. I'm just getting acclimated to doing them. And yeah, let me get into this other video I want to talk about. Somebody sent this to me, because a lot of times brothers and sisters will send me videos too. And if I like them, I'm going to speak on them. So yeah, this was a good one right here. This was an African brother over there in Britain, you know, speaking about how we as FBA stand on business and ain't afraid to, you know, speak our mind, and saying that people, the British blacks over there got to start doing the same. You know, see, that's what I said. We're a staple, and we set, you know, the precedence of, you know, how things should be conducted. You know, we stand on business, and we don't let nobody, you know, disrespect foundational Black Americans, you know, and a lot of this comes from the adversity that we had to endure with slavery, oppression, Jim Crow, so on and so forth. And what that did, you know, us going through all of that, fighting and rebelling, and, you know, the constant fight we've been in with these white supremacists over here in America, what that did to the foundational Black American, that built a spirit of resilience in us where we don't back down from anything. You know, we fearless to a certain degree, you know, and evidence of this is our great, you know, people that we have out at the forefront, like Muhammad Ali was fearless to, you know, a certain degree. He said, I ain't going to war. I ain't banging on them people, and you could put me in jail if you want. That's the kind of fearlessness right there that exists inside foundational Black Americans, that we ready to, you know, put ourselves in the line of fire for our beliefs, you know, and the things we stand on. Jeremy Woodson, B1 NC, peace to you, family. Freeman is our lineage. Yeah, they know it. That's why I'm not even, you know, addressing none of these, you know, haters, tethers, you know, they know the lineage, you know, and because truth be told, they want to, every Puerto Rican I see is trying to dress Black and be like a Black person, you know, but they for sure as hell don't like us, but they want to be like us, you know. Their mindset is, they wake up in the morning, how can I be like a foundational Black American? They got that at the forefront of their mind. Of course they know Sanchez doesn't even know his culture. Yeah, he don't know his culture, you know. And a lot of these people just, they got their names from white supremacy. That's another thing I wanted to touch on. A lot of these people that claim I'm African, I'm this, I'm that, a lot of these people got named by white supremacists, you know. And when I said another reason, I forgot to put this in my last video, but another reason why FBA lineage is under attack is because we've named ourselves. You know, a lot of these people, even the term African comes from Romans, you know, and we named ourselves as foundational Black Americans. There's power in that, naming yourself and setting, you know, the precedence as to who you are, and, you know, saying who ain't allowed to come among you, and not accepting everybody and being exclusive instead of inclusive. Is power in that. You know, we named ourselves, and a lot of these people, they get named from white supremacists. You know, their whole culture was drawn out by white supremacists. White supremacists designated them and said, you know, you're this, you're that. They told them who they were, you know, and we as foundational Black Americans, we set a statement out there as to who we are and, you know, what everything is. And, you know, this is why a lot of pushback is, you know, being put out there now. And peace to my sister, Demira Edie. I see you sniping them down. You got the burner on you, taking them out of the chat. Yeah, clear them up. Clear them up, sister, because, you know, they come in, you know, they hate, you know, they hate on foundational Black Americans because they know the greatness that exists within inside our people, and these people ain't got them kind of points on the board. But let me bring up this brother over there. He was in Britain, you know, and he's speaking to as telling these Britain Black people that they gotta, you know, start getting some kind of, you know, saying it with their chest like we as foundational Black Americans do. You know, stop being afraid to speak their mind on things. Fair use. I went to LA last year. Because everyone knows we as FBA stand on business.
And culturally, Americans. I went to LA last year, and culturally, Americans and Brits, Black Americans and Black Brits are so different. Like, Americans are very forward, very direct. What you see is what you get. British people, we kind of do the typical British thing where we kind of not give too much.
Yeah, quite reserved.
There is
this.
Too
excited. Yeah.
We get branded as, he's a beg, or he does too much. And then that then seeps into how people date. It's very hard for people to be their unapologetic self.
Yeah, that's like with your flowers. It's like, of course, you want to send 24 flowers.
I was thoughtful. They were cooking me like I was fried rice, and I couldn't understand it. But at the same time,
let me rewind that. I missed something.
Not give too much.
Yeah, quite reserved.
There is
too
this.
excited. Yeah.
We get branded as, he's a beg, or he does too much. And then that then seeps into how people date. It's very hard for people to be their unapologetic self.
Yeah, that's like with your flowers. It's like, of course.
He said it's hard for people to be their unapologetic self. And he's saying that, you know, to say that, you know, they got to give some more oomph in them as foundational Black Americans. We got that oomph. you know, and a lot of this, we be our unapologetic self, you know, because of the things we've endured, you know, having to deal with slavery, Jim Crow. And we just, you know, we know as foundational Black Americans, people going to hate just because they love to hate, you know, because when people are doing something that's effective and powerful, that's the only reason people hate. And, you know, if they going to hate, let them hate, because we ain't going to sit there and, you know, change up our style to, you know, comfort anybody else, you know, to make anybody else feel good. We're going to do us. And if you butthurt and mad about that, you just going to have to be butthurt and mad about it, because foundational Black Americans, we in our own lane. And, you know, we're the lineage of people that drives the world forward. You know, whenever somebody, you know, want to get recognition or, you know, get some kind of fame, they got to come amongst Black people, foundational Black Americans first. You know what I mean? This is why a lot of these other groups of people with the music, they got to, you know, amalgamate into our society, because, you know, we're the elite tier. You know, if they do good amongst foundational Black Americans, they know that, you know, their music will sell to the world, you know. And if a lot of these other people, where they claim as though they made this and created that, if they would have made this and created that, why didn't they do it in their homeland? You know, and why didn't they, you know, like Busta Rhymes and Fat Ho, why didn't they come with that a Sosa or Jamaican music and put that out at first, you know? And, you know, because it wasn't a soul, because word would move the needle forward, especially over here in America and the world for that matter. These people just ain't got the kind of points and things we got up on the board. And truth be told, Busta Rhymes was cosplaying a lot. He wasn't telling nobody in his early days that he was Jamaican. You know, he was coming amongst it trying to play as foundational Black American, you know. And if these people, you know, really want to look into the history of where they got a lot of their music from, it's coming from FBA samples. So which means it still comes from FBA hands, you know what I mean? And hip hop is just a reflection of what James Brown was doing, the funk, the soul, the R&B. And these are all genres we created, you know, over here in America, coming out of slavery. We used to create things on them plantations, family, to just, you know, help us, you know, to get through the oppression we was enduring, you know, to just help us to live day to day. This is where a lot of this comes from. And when a lot of people are saying, you know, they created this and did that, this is disrespect to our FBA ancestors that was on them plantations that really created the music, them saying that they done this and done that. This is why I don't let this kind of stuff go unchecked, and I won't let it go unchecked. I'm out here on the front lines, standing up for FBA freedmen business all day, every day. And if you're in the chat, family, watching this broadcast right now, make sure you like and subscribe, and have a good weekend out there. I'm getting ready to get up out of here. Busta Rhymes till his end. I don't know what you mean by that. Career to show his true self, his ass would have been canceled. Yeah, he waited his whole career. He would have been canceled if he would have came out the gate how he's coming out now. They wait till they get a bag off of foundational Black Americans, and then they want to talk slick and slide things behind the scenes, you know, because they know in all actuality we are the culture, you know. And the only reason Fat Joe or any of these tethers got where they are is because foundational Black American hands, you know, us buying the music, us co-signing, endorsing them. Because when we co-sign and endorse somebody, family, they take off like a rocket ship. If we don't mess with them, they ain't gonna sell. They're gonna, you know, fall off. They're gonna be one-hit wonders. You know what I mean? And I say that we don't mess with Fat Joe or Busta Rhymes, you know, because they don't respect our lineage. Therefore, they don't deserve to get the FBA dollar. You know what I mean? And that man Hoffa Cat, he was real weak too. And I knew he was a tether once he was sitting up there laughing, and, you know, with Fat Joe throwing around that word nigga like that, that was very, you know, disrespectful and distasting to me. You know, that left a sour taste in my mouth of him, you know, not checking and giving pushback. But I knew he was a tether, because ain't no way in hell Fat Joe would have went up there to an FBA platform and, you know, talked the way he did, not around no real FBA brother. He would have got slapped the shit out of, you know what I mean? And he would have got checked right then and there, you know. And I say we keep on, you know, giving these tethers and non-FBA cats that want to disrespect the lineage. I say we keep on giving them that work. You know, we don't let our foot up off their neck, because, you know, it's a new day in town, and FBA lineage is to be respected and revered. You know what I mean? Because we're the culture that shaped the world. And, you know, a lot of people want to cry and play foul, but in all actuality, they want to be FBA. This is why they mad, because they want to steal our history, our legacy, and wipe us out. And they want to trade spots with us, and they want to be in the position that we're in. So, yeah, family, I'm getting ready to get up out of here. Shout out to my brother Mark. I'm from Harlem, NY. It's far. As I know, you can't wear Timberland boots, bear coats, and a North Face coat in the Caribbean. It's too hot. Yup, you can't wear none of that. That's our culture and our style. You know, and how brothers in the 90s when I was growing up, they was wearing that one pants leg rolled up. How LL was doing it. That's all FBA stuff. These brothers come, these people, I mean, come from these other places and want to lay claim to stuff we already been moving and shaking on. You know, we are the culture. We what drives everything forward. We were the ones wearing fitted caps. We popularized fitted caps in 5950s. I know when I was a kid, we was wearing them things, and you know, we had other cats wearing them. You know, now then you had Latinos coming and wearing them once we was already wearing them. You know, and we was wearing Fila and all of that, Gray Hills, and you got other cats that want to come along, Johnny come laters, I call them, and copycat, you know, and hijack the style and the swag. And they for sure as hell don't like black people, but they like stealing from us, you know what I mean? They like stealing from our culture, you know, they like denigrating us, but they also like stealing from us, you know, and them days is over. So we gatekeeping everything now. Call for President Anthony Edwards. It's too hot to wear coats in the Caribbean. Nah, it ain't too hot. If they wanted to wear coats in the Caribbean, they will wear them. The fact is that they didn't have the wherewithal and tenacity to put together those styles like we was. You know what I mean? They couldn't facilitate that. Let me get you on up out of here. You know, they didn't have the wherewithal and tenacity. They ain't got that Majora spirit. You know, we drive the culture forward in fashion, music, you know, the food we cook. Even like, you know, KFC, that was stole from a sister, an FBA sister, them recipes. You know, everything we do, it got stolen. You know what I mean? We had several hundred patents that were stolen as FBAs. We invent so much stuff. We're the most creative people in the world. And I'm never going to let anyone come amongst the FBA family and collective and denigrate us. You know what I mean? Them days is over with, you know, and nobody got a pass into the culture no more either. That's just why people are mad, because they can't come amongst the lineage and be down. You know, everything we doing is, you know, everything we doing now is about pushing the needle forward for foundational Black Americans. It don't mean we don't wish other people well, but, you know, we advocate for our needs first and foremost. And getting back to that Dr. Umar thing as well. Dr. Umar, you know, he misread the room. Dr. Umar comes with that Pan-Africanist worldview and that Pan-Africanist thing that kept us getting the short end of the stick. And he ain't no damn advocate, you know, that could get out here and facilitate anything, talking about facilitating a hip hop summit when we already know who created, you know, hip hop. That's FBA Freedman. And it's already a good movie out there on it called Microphone Check that brother Tariq Nasheed put out. And anything that, you know, says otherwise, these people are just arguing to argue in bad faith. You know what I mean? Because some people is going to argue till they dying day. Some people are arguing on a ship that's going down. That ship will be sinking. They know the ship is sinking. They just say, nah, that ship ain't sinking. They just in denial, because in all actuality, it's like a captain, you know, that ship is going down. He don't want to admit that his ship is going down because it will make him look bad, you know? So they'll just argue and say things to say it. You know what I mean? But FBAs, it's a new wave in town, and Dr. Umar misread the room. He should have kept his mouth shut, but I think he just said something in all actuality to stay relevant, because he knows he ain't really relevant no more. He ain't got a stone to step on with that whole Pan-Africanism argument, you know, because a lot of them Latinos and a lot of them African immigrants, they see themselves as being where they from. And a lot of them African immigrants don't even like FBAs, nor do the Latinos like FBAs. A lot of them Latino groups despise FBAs. And now we just saying the hell with them all, you know, and if we get good brothers and sisters that want to get on code, fine, you know, but it ain't going to bother us either way if they want to or not, you know, to get on code with us, because we're on code now more than ever as FBAs. And that's the only thing that matters, because when so many of us are on code like we are now, we're the ones that will move the needle forward, and we're the ones that will, you know, get things done that we got to get done for our group. So yeah, closing, everybody just have a good weekend, and yeah, and you know, stand on Lineage business, family. Stand on, you know, getting on code with your brother and sister, your fellow FBAs, and you know, never let no one denigrate or disrespect the Lineage, and you know, take some pride in being a foundational Black American, knowing that you got the culture that drives the world forward, that everybody got to steal and try to lay claim to, because in all actuality, they ain't got no culture for themselves. Just my thoughts on the matter, but everybody be safe out there, family. Peace.